Okay, so we'll always read the prompt first. You have been asked to write an argumentative essay for your school's blog in which you support or oppose the use of an artist's music in advertising. Use information from the "Should Musicians Change Their Tune?" passage set in your essay. Should musicians change their tune? Source 1. The Changing Landscape of the Music Business by Jacob Carter. The music industry is in the midst of a large upheaval. In decades past, artists made money through physical sales of records, CDs, and cassettes. However, those forms of media are quickly fading away. And while downloading songs from services such as Amazon or iTunes has become the most common way for people to purchase music in recent years, the whole idea of buying music to own may be falling by the wayside. To take its place are internet services that stream music directly to listeners on their smartphones, tablets, or computers. These apps are typically available either as ad-supported free versions or ad-free monthly subscription services. And while this is great for fans, who now have access to millions of songs at the flick of a touchscreen, it has shattered the traditional model of how an artist manages his or her career. After you've read the first paragraph, you can either go through and highlight certain words. You don't want to do entire sentences, just words or phrases that you can go back and just glance at without reading the entire paragraph to understand what's in that paragraph. And I strongly recommend that you do this. But you can also take notes either on the paper that's given to you or on the notes app that's available to you through the program. Up at the top, click Notes, and you can put it in your own words, or you can just write down 5 to 7 words or phrases that will remind you what this paragraph was about. What I wrote: the author's name, Carter, in case I want to cite something in my essay. Paragraph 1, the music biz is changing. Artists used to make money when fans bought their songs, but now their music is available through apps for free. How will the artist make money now? And then just save and close. And now I can just look at notes instead of going back to the paragraph to remind myself what that paragraph is talking about. With music lovers increasingly moving away from making one-time purchases towards an all-you-can-listen-to service, what is hard-working artists to do? What is a hard-working artist to do? The main problem facing many musicians is that payments per stream of a song are much lower than what an artist would receive from a download. According to data journalist David McCandless, a signed solo artist would need about 5,478 iTunes downloads of a song per month versus 4,200,000 YouTube streams per month just to make the U.S. minimum wage. Wow. Some big-name artists have called attention to the issue. In November of 2014, award-winning musician Taylor Swift pulled her entire music catalog from Spotify, a popular streaming app, claiming that their business model suggests that music does not hold much worth. So again, you can highlight certain words or phrases that are important. Another thing that you can do is highlight entire quotes or statistics that you might be able to use as evidence to support your claims in your argument essay. So if you come across something that you might be able to quote or paraphrase, go ahead and highlight that so that you can easily find it if you need it. You can either highlight it, or again, you can write it in the notes box. And then, for example, paragraph 2, I've put this in my words, my own words, the best that I can. Music fans starting to stream instead of purchase. Artists are not making money like they used to. Possible quotes to cite as evidence. And I didn't write the entire quote. I just started it so I could easily find it later, again, if you've highlighted in the passage. According to data journalist David McCandless. And just as a reminder to you, because I know some of you forget to put your citations and your quotation marks in, you might just want to go ahead and make sure that you put that in your notes to remind you to do it when you write your essay. And then remember, you still have to cite a quote or a piece of information from the text, even if you don't quote it directly. If you paraphrase or put it in your own words, you still must cite that information, because you have to give credit to the person who wrote it. That's their idea, not your idea. So if you were to paraphrase this part that started down here in November of 2014, Taylor Swift removed all of her songs from Spotify in 2014 because it made her feel like her music wasn't important to them, and I still cited it. Now, of course, this is not the best paraphrase in the world, which is why at the very end of your essay you want to go back and edit and revise and see if you can say things, word things better than you have the first time around, which of course you can always do. Okay, I'll do one more example with you, paragraph 3. Others have embraced the idea of streaming music, claiming that it offers smaller artists a chance for their music to get heard by a wider audience. Zoe Keating, a cellist who describes herself as established but not mainstream, suggests that these services should be viewed as a way for musicians to get their music out there and not as an income source. Brian Message, manager of the band Radiohead, has come out in support of streaming services. He sees them as a way for musicians and fans to interact. So again, in paragraph 3, you highlight the most important words or phrases and any quotes or data that you might be able to use as evidence in your essay. If this were me taking this test, instead of placing my notes in that notes box or writing it on paper, I'm one that likes to save time and I don't like to do work twice. So instead of writing my notes in the note box, I would probably write my notes directly into the box. And if you want, so that you know their notes when you go back to them later, you could do something to them so that you need to delete them after you've used them. The problem is you can't copy and paste from here to the box. You can't copy your notes from here to the box, and so you end up writing things twice if you take notes. So if you're going to put things into your own words or take notes, definitely the quotes, more than likely you're going to use the quotes as evidence, so that you might as well write them down so that later when you want to use them, you don't have to write them down again and you don't forget how to cite them properly. I also wanted to show you, if you have any strange types of letters like this E in Zoe Keaton's name, if you go to this tab or icon right here and click on it, it gives you a whole bunch of unique symbols and letters. And here is that E with the 2 dots on top, and it shows up right there. So let's say you don't want this Zoe Keating quote here, you want it somewhere else. You just highlight it, cut it, yes, I'm sure, put it where you want it, and hit paste. Now, if you're scared to cut things that you've written, you could always hit copy and paste, and then once you're sure it's where you want it, then you can go back and delete the original. But this way you've got your notes all here, and then once you've read the passages, you've got your notes, you've got the quotes that you want to use, and you actually start your essay, you'll know that everything above start essay you can delete once you've finished writing your essay.